Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks for the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Not going to waste your guys' time, let's get started. Starting off, we have the multiple different stations that you can choose from to upgrade, and of course to get materials. Now, I'm going to go over quickly which one I think that you should upgrade first. Even though it's very gravitating to go to the gun station, of course, I think the gear station is where it is at. You're going to fill your backpack, so this is definitely necessary to also bring along another two-handed weapon like a Nova. I personally have grass cutter, Nova, and a bow for those silent kills. Realistically, the gun station, you're not going to use, it's not very necessary throughout all of Saints and Sinners, but of course guns are awesome and they're very useful against reclaimed and tower troops, which I'll talk about them later. So this is important. I'd probably just go ahead and get the .30 revolver ammo just to have it. This is also important, but really, once you get the sterile bandages, really the good stuff is on the bottom. So that is the multiple different stations for you guys. Moving on to the next one. Something extremely important is turning your radio to station 47, so you can listen for any tips from the tower broadcast, which means they will be informing you about different caches, tower patrols, reclaimed patrols, late, early, bells, or no bells. Things like that. It's extremely important to also strategize where you're going to go. And that really depends on, well, what's there. Station 47 tells you about that stuff. On to the next section. Our next section involves the durability of your weapons. Once it gets to this point, you don't have too much life left in it. But most people, of course, you're just going to recycle them. But especially with pistols and everything, if you find them out in the wild, they're going to have at least 5 bullets in the 9mm, and at least, I think, 2 or 3 in the revolver. So remember, empty it out, collect all your bullets. Nice 6 shots that you just be wasting, and then you can throw it away. On to the next tip. For our next tip, we have material management. For different stations, you'll have different material requirements for each entire weapon or heal or anything. For example, let's just bring up this. The Sheriff, which is just the 45 reskin. Pistol frames, nuts and bolts, and workable metal. You gotta have that, of course, to create it. Pretty simple, but reminder, if you need any of these materials, you can track them. So you can look in your notebook, think here, and you can see what materials you need. Very important when going out and scavenging. On to the next tip. Here we are in semi-okay, be a Corolla. For our next tip, we have, okay, stop shooting, patrols. Patrols are difficult to deal with because they have heavy guns and heavy armor. So something that's good is either getting explosive arrows or just, destroying them with a shotgun. Let's grab this. I'm just going to show you a little demo of the murder. Okay, so that's not how you do it. Next time, have a little bit more aim than I do. But, well, the AI in this game is not the best, and you just shoot him a bunch of times and kill him. On to the next tip. For our next tip, we have just overall, again, material managing. Wow, we came back. Sorry. Material managing. Different ammo boxes that you could find, supply boxes. These are color-coded to the different stations. The orange one, you can see has antiseptics, bindings, everything, fiber. This is probably the survival station for meds, food, everything like that. Any more? Okay. We're gonna not do that again. Sorry. Here's the green one. Here is the gun station one, because it has gunpowder. Pretty obvious just from that. But yeah, just a reminder, look for the materials that you need for your station that you're upgrading. It's not worth just stocking up on random voodoo cola. Get that out of here. On to the next tip. Here we go for our next tip. We have two muggers. One is a reclaimed and one is a tower. A little odd. But you can just tell if they're muggers or not by the pistol in their hands. They either have a revolver or, of course, a 9mm. And these people, they're gonna ask you for some materials, hey?
All your bandages, now, or
It's
you're gonna
either-
have a few bullet
Shut
wounds
up.
to contend with. You understand?
It's either bandages, food, or pills. He's asking for bandages, and how you deal with these people is
one
either
last
give them what
time,
they want
give me
if
what
you're a
I
loser,
want,
or just, you know. For our next section, it is walker management. These walkers, of course, will grapple onto you. Let me shoot this one. There we go. Oh, stacking it up. Got 3 on. Right. Of course, you can see I could just throw them around. They could also bump into each other when you throw them. And it's important to do this when you need to get something from your backpack, because it's just not very advisable. Oh my god. There we go. And then I could just take my time. No need to rush when you're with these walkers. They're pretty slow. You can outrun them pretty easily. But yeah, keep them at a distance, or if they close the distance with multiple of them, you could grab them, throw them, and you could get into your backpack, get larger weapons, and it's pretty easy to manage them. Another tip real quick, guns do attract walkers in a radius. Sure, it's not every walker just going onto you. There's not walkers coming from every crevice when I shoot, but still, it's not the best thing to just shoot a single walker for no reason. More of an emergency thing. I'm a lone ranger. That's how you deal with the muggers. Beggars, you can either give them the materials that they're begging for, or you can just shoot them for their ammo box. Either way, does not matter. Here we have a lot of walkers. We have 5 here. There is a diseased walker. You definitely want to keep them at a distance there. Now they're on me. Now you're going to have to rely on your iron sights. I missed a little bit there, so it's just wasting time. You can also grab walkers while shooting. And that's an easy clear. But for your guys' information, the iron sights are a little bit wonky with different guns. With the revolver, at least the sheriff, it is pretty nice. But always, always rely on your iron sights. Again, if there's one walker, just use your knife. Cut off their head, slash them in the head, either way, gets the job done. Just doesn't alert every walker in an area. If I shot this walker, if there's any up there, they would just come walking down, and it would be a little annoying. Even though I will deal with them eventually. Here's another tip for you guys. If you're looking for sharp objects, boxes of razors are of course a good go-to, but broken glass bottles or just glass bottles also have the exact same amount of sharp objects, or one more. I can't exactly remember. But you find them everywhere, so you'll never be out of these sharp objects. You can hear walkers. Of course, they make sounds when they walk, and of course, they have their weird, moaning sounds. A little odd, but you know, it's The Walking Dead. Show what they do. Like right now, I can hear a walker on the other side of this door, and if I open it, they might be able to explode the door. But luckily, they're not right next to it. Oh. There we go. have a Guts Walker. Holy moly. Alrighty, anyways, Guts Walkers, of course, have their stomachs ripped open, and if you hit them with a sharp object like this, their guts just kind of flow out of their stomach, and you could use these to protect yourself against walkers or walker groups. You can just walk by them because, well, they don't attack their own kind. Alright. For our next tip on the map, if there's no special events going on, these houses will be, I guess, controlled by the different factions. This one, I believe, is controlled by Reclaimed. It's either Reclaimed or Tower, and then the other one is, I think, Tower. So this one's Reclaimed.
I'm not a bad.
For our next tip, watch the time on your watch. The polka dotted area is the amount of time that you have left before the bells ring, and it will give you increments. Here I am at half. It'll give you a little beep, a little audio recognition, so you know that it's halftime or quarter time. For our next tip, listen to the audio. Walkers will always make the attract noise once they see you, like that. And of course, look for any sights, because with human enemies, they'll have a aggression, I guess, bar, or aggression circle, and once it fills, they will start shooting at you or attacking you in some way. So just watch for that. Make sure to not aggro any enemies you don't want to. For our next tip, save your stamina for when you actually need to use it. Right now I'm about half full, so this would be a good time to eat some food to regain my stamina. But right now, it's not a very smart idea for me to run. Well, I guess it doesn't matter, I'm right next to the skiff. But if I needed to run away from some walkers or get into cover from some human enemies, I don't want this to be completely empty. And if I need to use a melee weapon of some kind, it will use it. So you want to keep that as full as possible. Moving on to our next tip. With your guns always, and I mean always, use two hands. Just feels nicer, feels cooler, and it says that you probably have better aim, even though I can get some pretty good shots off with one hand. Moving on to our next tip. For our next tip, to find codes that you find throughout the maps throughout the world, you can find them here in this section of your notes. Go through the codes, and here is all my codes that I have. Opens different safes that almost always give you new items like compound bow, explosive arrows, lever action rifle, things like that. So anyways guys, I think that is my tip video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day y'all. Later.